Hi guys, if you don't want to see this little intro here, right about here there's going to be something to tell you what part of the video to skip to get right to the good stuff, the gameplay. I want to do a quick shout out to the Rayman speedrunning community. I had problems setting up the emulator for this and it was just an absolute nightmare. All in all, I spent like 10 hours trying to work it out and I went to these guys for help and they were incredible. Great people, just absolutely made this possible for me and I really appreciate that. That aside, this is a little video series. Now, there is a little bit pixelated because the picture is a bit blown up. I don't have the kit to make it look incredible, and I wanted to, when I put it into a certain resolution and aspect ratio, and I blew it up, which makes it a little bit pixelated, but I don't think that's too bad because, you know, it's a PS1 game, it's old. If you're looking for Rayman stuff, you're probably not looking for the best quality in history ever. So I think it's okay. On top of that, I was very pleased with the commentary. Now, there are the occasional audio and video lags. They're not too bad, I think. There's some background tracks that are a bit off, but hopefully I should have edited some stuff in that should make it seem decent enough anyway. I was very pleased with the commentary, as I've just said, but the reason I want to keep this is because it gives a real genuine feel, right? I've not played this game a lot in recent times, and if I were to redo the entire thing, then it wouldn't be as genuine, right? It wouldn't be the same as just, hey, I know the game, but I'm not familiar with it in recent times. I'm not practiced, so here is a genuine representation of what I'm like at it. That's the sort of feel I wanted to go for, and redoing it would just take away from that. So I'm hopefully you'll forgive me for the tiny little problems. Again, I don't think they're too bad, and I think it should still prove to be a very enjoyable video to watch. Hope you enjoy it. Recording at a slightly higher quality, and that's just to crap. Hello there, guys. I'm a dude playing Rayman. You've probably already seen the intro. This is just gonna be a fun time. This is a game that I thoroughly enjoy. I'll tell you a couple of stories later to it which I think are quite funny. I've not played it much in recent times. Like you'll see here, I've got a little save file, and that is purely because I was just testing some recording setup. As you can see, I've got 0% of the way through the game. I literally played through the first mission. That's all. And that was just to, again, get my recording set up, get the audio right and whatnot. But yeah, we're going to be starting here. And this is an incredible game. Now, why do I want to share this? It's a personal thing, really. Like, it's a game that I personally just love. I have loved it for so long. Now, as I said, there will be some pixelation and whatnot, and that just comes with emulating an old game. Getting the quality up high is incredibly difficult, and you don't get that much of a difference by the end of it. So, sadly, you're going to have to put up with it, but that's okay, I'm sure. So, there's some things I really want to talk about whilst playing this, and I want to talk about game design in particular. Now, what I want you to keep an eye on is I want you to keep an eye on the art, and I want you to keep an eye on, well, an ear out for the music, because it's just super incredible. Now, this is a casual run. I have looked at some speedruns, and this game looks like a lot of fun to speedrun, but this is just a casual run, because I've not memorized the route for the speedrun. I might end up doing it at some point, which would be quite interesting, but yeah, it's a basic 2D platformer. And I use the term basic lightly because this game was originally designed in 1995. Now that is old as far as games go. Like, that is ancient, but you know, it's an incredible game, and just because of the design of it, right? Like, you know, there's people that still like prefer things because of nostalgia and whatnot. There is a nostalgia aspect, but this game is just incredible. Like, look at the background, listen to the music, or the ambiance, I suppose the word is. Like, it just creates such a cool feel for such a cool game. It's incredible. So, I feel like I should explain a few things for those who are less familiar, and I apologize if you are familiar. These are secret missions here, the little hat guy. You pay him 10 of your blue tings. Tings are kind of like the currency, so to speak. Not really a currency, they function more like rings in Sonic, where they're sort of a collectible, and if you get 100, you get a life. So you pay them up, you get a chance to do one of these, you succeed, you get a life. You do have a limited amount of lives in this game. You can't just, like, get infinite. Now, technically, you can, but you need to collect 100 tings, which means rerunning levels a lot. Like, there's not that many tings in the in each level. Like, I don't know how many it is exactly, but I think it's probably going to be something like 100. Now, the start of this is going to be a very basic, and that's just because we don't have our powers yet, which we unlock as we progress through the game. So it does get a lot more interesting. So I just want to listen to the music, man. This game has a lot of humor in it, I think. Like, for example, these guys. I'm going to show you something funny with these guys. It's a game where I just think it's so cool how they just added so many of these little details in. Like, it's just incredible to me. I don't think this is going to be 100% run yet. Basically, the way this game works is because it's quite an old game. They make you artificially rerun the game. There's cages you have to destroy, which you destroy by punching them, which we have just unlocked. Now, I'll probably go back and do the Candy Chateau, because I'll tell you what, despite how much I love this game, I have never sat down to do all the cages. I own this game on PS1 3 times, as you would have seen from the intro. Now, how did that come about? Because this is relevant. So, I got a PS1, right? I really wanted to play Rayman. I own a PS1 for this game. And I bought PS1 off a friend for £15, which is cheap as hell. Kind of got a bug in there. And, but the reason that came about was because I owned a PS2, right? And I bought Rayman, because I was like, hey, PS1 games work on PS2, right? Shouldn't be a problem. Whoops. Should be a problem. Turns out it is, because it didn't work. So I was like, huh, okay, maybe it's just my copy of the disc. Now, it was a cheap enough game, right? I paid jack for it, like, literally jack, nothing. Like, literally, like, pence, basically. And so what happened was I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to bother, like, sending the game back or anything. I'll just buy another copy, right? I'm not going to piss around for a couple of quid. And so I did that. This copy didn't work, and I was like, huh. Okay, well, it's an old game. There's probably going to be a few dud copies out there. So, hey, I'll just get a third one, right? Again, it's not a big investment. So the third one stopped working. And so then I was like, huh, wait a second. Something doesn't seem right here. What's wrong? So I go and look it up. And it turns out that Rayman is one of the few PS1 games that just do not work on PS2. And your guess as to why that is as good as mine. I have no idea. So that's how I came to own 3 copies of Rayman. I've forgotten where I was going with that. I know there was a point. Oh yes, yeah, that's it. Despite owning the game for so long and having played it a lot, because I thoroughly enjoy this game, I never got to Candy Chateau because my PS1 does not have a memory card. So my progress was never actually getting saved. And so I've never actually beaten the Candy Chateau. So what I'll probably do is I think I'll do the casual run, and then I'll do a save state, and then I'll go back and clean up all the cages. I have seen the speedrunning route, and I kind of want to try speedrunning this game, but there's a lot to remember. Like, it's not an easy speedrun. Like, it's not an easy game. Like, this game looks easy. It looks easy. And I'm going to make it look easy because although I'm not on this anywhere near the same level as the speedrunners, I'm pretty good at it, right? Like, a lot of it is just getting used to the physics and whatnot. And you probably won't see too many awkward deaths from me because I am, again, I think I am pretty good, at least on a casual level. So, there's that. But this is a fucking ferociously hard game. Like, it is so hard, you have no idea. And if you decide you want to play it, which I don't think many of you will, but if you do, then Jesus Christ, you're going to get your ass kicked. And it's not even, like, but the thing is with this game, right, is it's not unfair. This is one of the fairest games in history. Now, when it comes to the collectibles, not so much, because it's a bit arbitrary the way they do it. Basically, I thought you made something spawn there. I need to remember these things. I have a rough idea of where everything is. Huh. But yeah, it's a bit arbitrary how the collectibles pop up. Lives, power-ups, cages. Like, for example, there are many instances when you'll be somewhere in the level, you'll go past a certain point, and then all of a sudden a cage will just appear. Is there anything on the side? No. So the collectible side isn't fair, but actually just playing it, getting through the levels, that is so fair, because despite it being hard, right, I never die in this game and think, oh, that's bullshit. Unless, of course, you know, there's a glitch or a bug or something. But, like, it is a fair game, and every time I die, I feel like it's because I messed up. I was bad. And that's amazing. That's incredible. I love that so much. This is the first boss fight of the game. It's not hard. Like, a lot of the game isn't hard, and a lot of the game is hard. It's just, it's a nice difficulty curve, right? Like, a lot of games have a decent difficulty curve, but I think this game has, like, the perfect difficulty curve. Because it starts off like so easy, like it's just a piece of cake. But it quickly gets harder, but it gets harder at a rate that... Basically, it'll get harder in bursts, right? Like, it'll start off decently hard and... Well, decently easy, sorry, and then it gets like decently hard after a certain level. Because you run through several levels of like X difficulty, then they'll bump up the difficulty for the next area. You saw those little medallions on the map. It gets harder there, and... it gets harder all at once, but it's fair because it's just a step up now, rather than just being thrown into the deep end. So we beat up this guy, he's now our friend. Don't know how that works, but it's good logic, right? So he gives us a little ride. This is an easy little area, it's a lot of fun. I didn't need to collect that. So to explain a few little mechanics that I've not explained, there's these yellow little dots you'll see underneath my lives in the top left corner. That's the amount of hits you can take. So you see here, I take a hit, I lose a bit of health. You don't refill it, except by collecting these little P-ups, these red things. And you also get it by collecting lives, which can be done by either directly collecting the life or getting 100 tings. So you'll see me taking hits and not dying. It's not an insta-die game. But I just love this game so much. Like, listen to this music. Whoops. Damn. God, I love this music so much. Well, this is just an example of how they did so much with so little, man. Like, this is 1995 this game was originally designed, and it was only slightly improved to the PS1 version. And, God, it's so cool. Like, it's going to be a little bit pixelated because it's on an emulator, right? It's not on a TV. The screen's going to be a bit bigger, you know, relative to... The resolution's going to be bigger relative to what it should be and whatnot, but it still looks incredible to me. Like, it's just cool art. Like, you consider the time that this was made in. I wish I could bring it to you just on PS1. Like, I wish I could just show it to you on the based PS1. Because that would just be so cool. So now we have unlocked Hang. Hang is self-explanatory. You hang off ledges. Very important mechanic. I watched the speedrun of this, and they skipped a boss. Like, there's a way to just skip a boss that you don't have to fight. Like, you can actually complete the game without beating all the bosses, but I'm going to beat all the bosses because this is going to be fun. Give me this. Thank you. And this is like, I just love the creativity here, right? Like, what they've done here is they've just made it erase the level kind of thing. But you see that you get a decent amount of time, and it's like, it starts off quite easy, but it gets quite hard later on. It gets quite tricky. So what we've been given is we're given this magic seed, we plant it, we grow a plant instantly. But you see like how there's an audio cue on that guy? Like, other games would just have him shoot. You know, you turn the corner and you get hit, fucking bot aim or some shit. But this game is just so fair. But this game will kick your ass. Just because I say it's fair doesn't mean it's not hard. Like, this game will fuck you up so hard. I don't know how many times I played this game. Not that many in the grand scheme of things. Like, maybe... I've probably run through it fully about 10 times or so. But... I don't know. It's just such a cool game, man. Like, everyone's got that thing that they just turn on because it's theirs, right? Like, it's just that thing where... It's just a special game to me. And I don't know how many people will see it the same way. Like, a lot of people will probably just see this as an outdated 2D platformer. This is where we'll see a perfect example of things just popping up. A lot of cages will pop up that way. And that's something I'm not overly a fan of, but that's because today's game design is a lot more advanced. We have a lot more technology, and we have a lot more understanding. I thought I was dead then. And we have a lot more understanding of what makes a good game. So if you consider the era that this game was made in, 1995, games had to last because they were expensive. Like, consoles were expensive, and a game as cheap as simple as this, so to speak, like relatively speaking to today's standards, was complex, and it costs a lot to make, and they needed to make people remain interested. I almost got hit there. So there's a little trick you can do. No! Oh, I slipped. I thought I was going to clear the plum, but it caught me and it pulled me backwards. Whoops. But they had to make these games last, right? And they did that by making the player rerun it with collectibles and stuff. Like, the amount of older games with just collectibles is incredible. And shit! You know, I said this in a previous thing I recorded, and I'm going to say it again. Playing whilst talking is quite tricky. I'm going to end up being quiet for certain parts of the game because they are just tricky and require a degree of focus. I was trying to go quick. I shouldn't. I should just do it the slow, correct way. Take that, take that, take that, take that, take that. Excellent, there we go. Give me this. Cool. So they made you artificially rerun the game with collectibles, but it forced you to explore the levels, which I thought was really cool. Like, I have spent a lot of time trying to get all the cages, but due to the lack of a memory card, I just never bothered to collect all the cages, which unlocks the final level. So, it's something I'll probably do with a save state, because it's one of those things where you do want a memory card. Now, there are cheat codes for the game, but the thing is that the ones, because I'd beaten the game, right? Like, I'd beaten all the levels, and I wanted to save myself the time skip of finding all the cages. So I don't think that's skill, right? That's just a time investment. So I went to look up cheat codes to try and unlock all levels and just play the last level, right? But I couldn't find any that worked. Like, they unlocked everything else, but they did not unlock the last level. That there is a trick I learned from watching the speedrun. See how the cage just appeared there? That's the sort of stuff I mean. Like, that makes the collectibles hard to get. I am going to collect them just because I know them. Bit of lag there. But yeah, that's a trick I learned from speedrunning. Like, you just climb the vines so quick that way. It is a game where a lot of it you do just need to know, though. Sadly. But it's so much fun. And got it. So this takes us to another secret area. Well, I say secret area, another secret mission. I'm just doing these to grind lives because I will die a few times. Like, I died a couple of times stupidly, whereas I normally wouldn't. Oh no, I hate this one. I can't do it. Nope, not doing it. I can't do that one. It's hard. That is a hard one to do. Am I gonna take a hit? Yeah. Ooh, got it. But yeah, I'm gonna grind up some lives because I'm gonna be playing whilst talking, and this is a game where you will get your, as I've said, and I will continue to say so, you will get your ass kicked. And I'm talking while playing, I'm getting my ass kicked pretty hard there too. So I do apologise if I go silent and whatnot, but I am going to grind up some lives and I am going to go silent on certain levels. For example, Eat at Joe's, the speedrun makes it look easy, but they use a trick, which I think they called it, what did they call it? They called it speed saving or momentum save or something like that. It's basically a trick where you can like store your speed, and then when you land a certain way, like you manipulate the physics to then get that burst of speed back. And using that, they just skip like half the level, which is bonkers. But I can't do that. Like, I've not practiced it. It'd be a while before I do, if I properly do, and that's it. It's going to be a casual run, and even on a casual run, it's a nightmare because there's these little fish that like jump at you and try and like chomp on your ass, and it's so brutal. There will be times when it goes silent just to let you hear the music. Like, this game was just super incredible music, man. Is there something down here? Yes. There are levels of the game you have to revisit. Not because you will have like missed them because you don't know where the cages are and stuff, but some literally require certain powers to get. Like, for example, we will have to rerun the first level if we want to get the 100% because we didn't have punch, so you literally couldn't bust open those cages. There is no way to abuse that and get past that. For that guy, you have to wait for his gun to be down before you can punch him. It just bounces off otherwise. Oh, I should show off this fish. Hang on, watch this. I hope that's half as funny to you as it is to me. Wait. I don't recognize this. I've done a lot of this game, and a lot of the cages are just ones hidden in arbitrary places. Oh, I recognize this. Never mind. This is actually quite hard. There we go. It's a game where the physics look odd, but they are really smooth. Like, I have basically no input lag. Like, I'm using RetroArch, right? That's the emulator that I was sorted out with by the Oh, this is really hard. Ooh, crap. As you can see, I am on a timer, so I don't just get... No, damn. Come on. Come on. Come on, Rayman. Good boy. As you can see, I am on a timer. That timer runs out. You just get reset. Damn, I timed out. I'm going to try that again. I like these little missions. They're fun. Some of them I just can't do though. Like most notably, most notably the ones with like the swingy plums. Like you'll see me struggle a lot there, and that is just hard. Like that is just hard to do. Mess around with those plums. Like they are just tricky as hell. You can't just like sit on the platform and just move onto it that way, as you've seen. Oh, I'm getting lag here. Okay, there we go. That's going to happen sometimes. I don't know what's causing it. It's not like this game is a problem on processor, because I run much more powerful stuff whilst recording. I am recording at a slightly higher quality, and that's just to... Crap. This game is brutal, as you've just seen. That's brutal, man. Jesus, that's awful. Christ. Okay. But yeah, I am recording at high quality to bring this to you in the best way I possibly can. But there are just some moments where I lag and I have no idea what's causing it. Because as I've said, I've run more powerful stuff before. But I think it's just because it's like an emulator, and emulators are imperfect by nature, so... I don't know. I just have to apologize for momentary lags, but hopefully it's not too big a problem. Nice, perfect. That's hard to do. Damn, Ooh. Nice, I got it. Ooh. Got it. Man, that's hard. Sorry for going quiet there, but you understand that is hard. Or you will if you play the game. Damn, didn't turn. Damn, come on. I'm rushing. It's because I played this game a lot and I'm really comfortable with it, but I've not... No, damn, we're dead. It's because I've not played it a lot in recent times, so I'm not as comfortable as I otherwise would be. So there goes that life that I just grinded for. Feels bad, man. But yeah, I just love stuff like the music, the looks, the art, the sounds, like just that. It's just a satisfying sound. I remember there being something over there. I guess I'm wrong. Is there something up here? No. A lot of the stuff I can't remember, so I will end up just doing random stuff to try and... Oh, I didn't get it, damn. I will do a lot of random stuff to try and like spawn certain collectibles and stuff. Just want to show off as much of that as I can. I don't know if like when I go back and do the cage cleanup, if I will record that, but I might. And then if someone wants to watch it, they can. That's an interesting enemy. If you punch it like anywhere that's not the lips, then it will just keep spitting out enemies. And that's one that will get you on your first time. You'll be there like for 10 hours like trying to work out like what... I jumped. No, I jumped. I didn't jump. I thought I did. It's because I'm talking, man. Like, ugh. Oh, I need this. Like, if you've never tried to play a game whilst talking like this, try it. Like, even if you get a bit embarrassed, right? If there's no one around, like, just try it. And I'll tell you what, you will struggle. It is hard. But yeah, that's an enemy that will get you for ages on your first, like, playthrough. Not that many people will be playing this these days. But saying that, I reckon it's a decent amount. Like, I just don't know why they haven't re-released this game properly. Like, they did Rayman World for PC and whatnot. But, god damn it, like, it's just bad quality. Like, the reason why I was specifically working on an emulator, right, is that I found, like, a billion ways... Oh, come on. There we go. I found a billion ways to do it, like to be able to play this game that's not on... Oh, fuck it, I'm not going to bother. To do it that's not, like, through emulation directly, like not the proper kind. But the problem is it's stuff like the audio's fucked up, the gameplay is different, like they have cages in different places and whatnot, and it doesn't feel authentic, and stuff like the certain music doesn't work and stuff like that. And that's just... I didn't want to do that. This is a game that I love, and I want to bring it to you in the best way I can. And this was the best way I could. Oh man, this game. Love it so much. I know that to a lot of people watching this, they'll have already turned off the video and just been like, look at this outdated shit. But on the flip side again, like the only people that are going to look up Rayman stuff, people that actually want to see this sort of stuff, so hopefully a lot of people will enjoy it. I watched the HDQ run through. I can't remember the guy's name. Was it Glackham? Glackham? something like that. I watched him run it at one of the AGDQ events. Like, I went and watched the YouTube, and it was really cool. Like, he managed to pull off like incredible stuff while I was talking, and that's just mental to me. I would like to speedrun this game. I like speedrunning, actually. Like, I'm not good at it, and I've not found games to like properly do yet. I've done a bit of Devil May Cry 4 speedrunning, but that's just because I like that game and I like the character, and I've gotten really close to world record without really trying. It's just that in speedrunning, like shaving off like tens of seconds, like tenths of seconds is really hard. And like I can make like, basically the world record for this thing I wanted to do is, I believe in real time it's like 44 minutes. And I can reach 50 with a bad setup when I'm not trying overly hard. Like when I'm just casually like, ooh, I wasn't paying attention there. That was autopiloting. When I'm not trying awfully hard. When I try super hard, I can get it down to like, probably not far off the same. What's this for? Oh, let's get the cage down there. There's a cage down there. I'm not going to bother actually getting it because I'm going to have to rerun these levels anyway. I'll probably end up like using a guide to find all the cages just to save myself time. Oh, you recognize this guy? He's no longer our friend. I don't know what the story is behind that. It's not explained. Like for such an incredible game, my one major criticism is the story. Now in the start, you'll see that I will have shown off the premise of the story, right? There's a little cutscene type thing which shows off like what the story is meant to be about on the whole, but the story is never extrapolated. But what do you expect of a 1995 game? This is a hard level. I watched a speedrun do it, and again, they just made it look piss easy, as speedrunners tend to make games look. But to be fair, a lot of it is just knowing like where those blue fucking gooseberries, I don't know what they are, I call them gooseberries, even though they're blue, not green. But yeah, it's just knowing where they are, and they will fuck you up. I'm trying to remember. I did watch a video not too long ago, so I've got a rough idea. And there we go. I got through it very cleanly. Damn, that audio lag. But that looks so easy, and it's just not. Like, I saw it recently on a video, so I had a rough idea of where the stuff was. But the first time you play that, again, you will die like 50 billion times. It's going to happen. Like, this game will brutalize you. It's like Dark Souls, but not bullshit. All that lag. Yeah, I do apologize. That's just going to happen. I can't do anything about it, really. Gotta punch some fish. That life looks impossible to get. There is a way. Later on, you get a hang ability. There's these little pink rings that float around, and you can punch into them, and then you can swing off them. Now, once you get that, you can actually punch lives towards you, so you have to actually come back and get that. This is a different mosquito to the last one. This boss fight is harder, but I really like the way they did these boss fights. You'll see that like they are quite slow, but they are not boring slow. So what a lot of people try and do the first time against this boss is they'll try and like drop those things by walking into them, walking backwards. You just walk past them. And this is different. But see, like, it's slow, but it's interesting, right? Now, it's easy to me because I've done this a lot of times, and this isn't hard when you know what you're doing. But the first time, it is actually really hard. I think you can punch in there. But yeah, the speedrunners don't end up... Do they do this? Yes, they do. They do fight this guy, but... Can't remember the trick they use, but they damage boost, which is basically where you take a hit to get some sort of advantage in speedrunning. Or to get past certain things. Like if you, there we go. If you're familiar with Mario games, taking a hit to just get through a tricky area and using the invincibility frames to get past that, that's damage boosting. And there are ways that you can like really abuse animations and resets with damage boosting. Now I have not practiced them, and excuse me, and I don't know them or know exactly the conditions to trigger them. I would have to look up videos and see like what the deal is there, but yeah, there are ways to do this boss really quickly. This boss would already be over. But that just takes practice. I'd have to save state, and I'm not here to show off a speedrun yet. I like how I say yet, like I'm definitely committed to a speedrun. Like I may not do one. But I want to try, like what I want to do is I want to like do a video where like called, you know, learning the speedrun or learning the route, where I just like, you know, I watch a bit of a video to see how an area is done, I put in a save state, and I practice that area over and over until I get that particular trick down or whatever. That would be kind of cool. I don't know how many people would be interested in actually watching that though, but hey, you can always put it up, right? And if people don't want to watch it, they won't click on it, right? This guy's an asshole. He doesn't become our friend. I think he's different to the other one. I'm fairly sure, but again, they never really explained the lore. But I want this game like re-released, not remade, not reworked. I want it re-released, but with better res, right? Like, so I can bring this stuff to you in like better quality. Now there are ways to do it, but they are incredibly expensive, and I'm not prepared to invest that sort of money. Damn, that lag. Am I getting encoding overloads? No. So it's just choosing to lag. That's weird. There we go, we're better now. So this is where we unlock swinging. Now there is a trick which I learned off the speedrunners that I will be using. Not to speedrun, but there are certain jumps which are really tricky with these rings. But the speedrunners have a trick where they overshoot it, and then they end up going backwards, and then they sort of launch themselves higher off it. So that will be a trick I'll be abusing, which is quite cool.